Dirty Truth Tellers.
They telling us, let's not be too hasty, 'cause when you take your time, things can be very tasty, very, very tasty. They say don't rush for the truth.
Scarecrow Beats.
Let us tell you a lie. Don't rush for the truth. Just listen to our lies. Listen to our lies. Just keep believing we are the land of the free, while they shoot us and keep hanging us from the trees. They just want to smoke from the pipe of lies and pass it to you. Now if you take a toke, hey, that's on you. Now let me ask you, do you believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did it alone, there by himself,
Scarecrow
all alone, nobody there, hanging out the window with the gun in the air? Do you think he did it on his own? Well, if you do, you're probably very, very, very stoned. You're probably very, very stoned. If you believe that lie, they keep telling us to take our time. Don't be hasty. Just listen to the lie. Take your time. Listen to the lie. Take your time. Don't be hasty. Just believe what I say. You don't need proof. It's all a proof. Listen to the lie and be hasty. Just be hasty. Don't be so
Scarecrow
hasty.
Beats.
Just be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be so hasty. Don't be so hasty. Listen to the truth.
Wow. Wow, that was unbelievable, Hassan.
Thank you.
That was great. He did a great song there. I like that. That was like on a different beat. Like that was like a reggae beat.
Yes, yes.
I just imagine me and you. We're in Jamaica. No, we're in Jamaica.
Yeah,
me and
yeah,
you.
yeah.
We're in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
Jamaica, Queens. We're in Jamaica,
Mhm.
and we're sitting on the side of the road, you know, smoking a big, thick stogie.
In Jamaica, Queens.
In Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
You know, because I'm not flying now during the COVID thing.
No,
Like,
so
on
we.
a plane, so
Well, how you gonna get on the subway and go to Jamaica, Queens?
I have to get on the subway to go to Jamaica, Queens, but it's not being on a plane. Like a plane to me is a little worse. And we could sit on the side of the road, smoking the weed, maybe listen to some Bob Marley and
Do you like Bob Marley?
Oh, I love Bob Marley, but mainly I like you and the way you sang the reggae.
Thank you.
We could make believe there's a beach there, and it was really beautiful. We could make believe we'll be in Jamaica, Queens. That's my beautiful.
Don't be hasty.
Don't be hasty. So good evening, everyone, and
Don't
welcome.
be hasty.
We're Epstein and Hassan, the Dirty Truth Tellers.
Yes.
And
Clear it.
we're gonna do the news for you now, and it's gonna hook up. The news is gonna hook up into the song. I don't know if our followers have noticed that, but our song is always the lead-in
Yes.
to whatever the news. That
I
we're
hope
gonna
you
bring.
have noticed that.
We
'cause
hope
we
you've
spend a
noticed
lot
it
of
because
time
that's
in it.
but they may not have noticed. And judging from some of the letters we receive about this show,
They don't notice it.
They don't notice it.
You don't notice it.
Somehow they're offended by stuff that wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean, the monogamy thing, like that, really sent a couple of people off.
Yeah.
We weren't telling you that you were wrong to have an open marriage.
Just be honest. If you're in a monogamous relationship, be honest.
If you're in an open marriage, that's for you. But what we notice is you're always saying that people who are monogamous are boring. How could you do it? So you're kind of judging the monogamous people. So we just said that, you know, if you're in an open marriage, you know, kiss our ass, basically.
Yeah,
there was nothing wrong with it. But anyway, let's do the news. Let's not get distracted.
Yeah. Again.
Not get distracted.
Ready?
All right, here we go. Get distracted. This is the quickest story and the news.
Who are you telling this to?
You myself. Distracted or go off on a tangent. Good evening, we're Epstein and Hassan, the dirty truth tellers. And here's the news. So, whenever I do the news, I put on my Anchorman glasses.
Yes.
So, once again, this is a news source. We have to quote our sources, and we once again have gone to probably the most reliable of all news sources, the NewYorkPost.com. So, once again, the New York Post, Rupert Murdoch, thank you. So, here we go. Secret government files relating to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy was supposed to be released by next week. But now President Joe Biden has postponed the release once again.
No.
This time, Biden is blaming the delay on the coronavirus pandemic. He says the documents will now be released in 2 batches. One later this year, and a larger one later next year. Biden said that he personally is in agreement with this recommendation that more time is needed before we can release the documents.
Really?
He doesn't want, and this is where your song about haste. Biden said, we don't want to act in haste. Now, before going any further in this news story, Hassan, they have been putting this documents together now for, I believe, 27 years.
Yes.
Kennedy himself was assassinated in 1963, which is 58 years ago.
Yes.
And for the past 27 years, they've been working on redacting the dangerous stuff, whatever's in this thing. Now, the coronavirus, how that has affected this being released is kind of shocking because you've had 27 years.
What have you been doing?
What's in these reports?
That you don't want us to know.
That for 27 years you keep redacting it and changing it. Now let's just say, let me just bring up a point. There's been, you know, conspiracy theories.
Right.
And by the way, the term conspiracy theory came about because of the Kennedy assassination, when right from the start there were people who were a little surprised that they were accusing Lee Harvey Oswald of being the lone gunman. Now, there's a very funny, very famous bit where Bill Hicks, the great comedian, describes going to the place where Lee Harvey Oswald was supposed to, it's the book depository.
Right.
And he described that in order for Lee Harvey Oswald to have made that shot, he would have to dangle out of the building.
Out the window.
With, you know, shooting, and it would have to bang off of buildings. It was basically, if you go to this building, according to Bill Hicks, it's impossible. So some of the theories were Castro did it. Now, if Castro wanted to kill Kennedy, America tried to kill him 1,000 times. And then the other one was that the mafia did it. Now, there were other conspiracies, but those were the ones that were big at that time. And if the American government found out that Castro was responsible, or the mafia,
we would have went in there.
I think they might have told us by now, 60 years later, 27 years of looking for this. So I have a feeling that the reason that they don't want us to know is that there was another conspiracy that said that the CIA and the military-industrial complex heard that Kennedy wanted to get rid of the CIA and wanted to reduce the tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, and that would mean that they would lose a lot of money. So there's a conspiracy that to make a point, like they could have killed Kennedy, Hassan, by giving him poison. Or they could have killed Kennedy by strangling him or having some woman that he was cheating on Jackie with, have her kill him. But they didn't do that. They shot him in broad daylight in an American city. And there are people who believe that they did that to send a message to any future president that if you fuck with the military-industrial complex, we're going to put a bullet in your head. And guess what? Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan,
he didn't do it.
Bush 1,
Oh, yeah.
Clinton,
Yeah.
Bush 2,
Yeah.
Obama,
Okay.
and Donald Trump, and now Joe Biden. All of these guys, for some reason, they don't
They
release
can't get
this.
to file them, but let's give them a little background.
Give them more background. But just keep that in mind as
Okay.
she gives you the background.
Okay.
My co-anchor, the beautiful Naima Hassan.
The John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act. Listen to that. Let me just read that again. The John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act, dating back to 1992, had said all files should be publicly released by October 2017. It is now 2021, and they still aren't.
And they had 17 years
Yes.
just right there to
Right
work
there.
on this.
Yes,
17
yes.
years to do a report. Okay.
Yeah. But it allowed for delay when there were concerns about national security. Then President Donald Trump authorized the release of almost 20,000 documents, but delayed the disclosure of other files, setting the deadline of October 26, 2021, which has passed. People who have been eagerly awaiting the documents were not too happy about the delay. One person, Jeff Morley, who edits JFKFacts.org, criticized the move, likening the White House explanation for the delays as the COVID dog ate my homework.
The COVID dog age.
Yeah, that excuse, all right? That's what they said. And he goes, let's not make hasty decisions? Really? After 29 years of stonewalling, they don't want to make hasty decisions, Morley told the Washington Post. Well, here's what he had to say about that. They are saying very clearly they do not intend to obey the law. It's a ruse. And you have to think about that. All these years, why can't we know what's in those reports?
And what's interesting is Trump was going to release them, and suddenly he changed his mind. And my guess is that somebody came over to the White House and they showed him.
I wouldn't do that if I were
Well, no, they
you.
showed him the video of
Yeah.
Kennedy's head being
Yeah.
blown into Jackie's lap, and
Yeah.
they said that the way Melania feels about you, Don, if your head was blown into her lap,
She wouldn't
probably
care.
would just drop it out.
Now,
you know.
we don't know if this is true, but the comedian that Epstein mentioned,
Bill
Hicks, said that there's kind of like an exhibit that you can go to, like in the room. But the thing is, you can't get to the window. They have that blocked because if the average person looks out the window, you would go, oh, fuck, that wasn't possible.
We all know.
It wasn't possible. How? How?
I mean, everybody knows that. I shouldn't say everybody knows, but most people know that Lee Harvey Oswald definitely was not the lone gunman. And then Lee Harvey Oswald, of course, gets shot by a guy. They just bring him off an elevator. A guy, Jack Ruby, who's got ties to the CIA.
Well, if you check even Lee, he has go back. He's been connected to the CIA. This was like a plan over 8 to 10 years. I remember reading about that.
Right.
He wasn't just some stranger that they picked up.
So the point we're trying to make is that Biden coming on TV and saying "Don't be hasty" is kind of a hasty. I mean, you can use a lot of words, but hasty can't.
Hasty.
This is not hasty if you wait almost 30 years and the guy died in 1963. Now, I'm about to make a kind of radical statement, Hassan. Up until now, I have not made radical statements.
No, not at all.
I'm going to make a radical statement.
Okay.
When John F. Kennedy was killed in 1963, that was literally a coup d'etat. The United States, he was killed by the members of the CIA or some other agency to overthrow a government. That's called a coup d'etat. And that was actually the beginning of the end of the United States as a so-called democratic country. It's never been a democracy, it's a republic. But that was really the end. And everything that happened since then, the entire decline of the United States, is based on that action. So you would think that they would want to get to the bottom of this after so many years, but they don't. They don't want to get to the bottom of it. So you have to ask yourself, why?
What's in the file?
What's in the file? And I'll tell you, you don't need the files. I'm going to tell you. The CIA, allegedly, let me throw that out there. Allegedly, the CIA, probably George Bush's dad, Bush 1, who was a president here too, he was the head of the CIA at one point. He's very tied in with a lot of Texas oil men who make a lot of money with weapons and oil and weapons. It seems that they may have been the ones that wanted Kennedy dead and did it in broad daylight so that everybody since then has been terrified. And then if you say things like this, people say you're a conspiracy theorist. Once they say that to you, that closes the conversation.
Yeah, and it kind of voids you out. It
means
you look
that you're like a nut. And now, because of what's happened with all these lunatic QAnon conspiracy theories,
are the nuts?
So now everything is a conspiracy theory.
Yes,
literally everything is a conspiracy theory. But the most important day, I still remember when Kennedy got shot. I was in public school.
Yeah.
And I remember, how everybody was so devastated by this. And if you look at the level of mediocrities that have been president since Kennedy died, literally every single one of them is a disaster and a coward because they know what happened. Every single president, they've read those files.
And they know what's in the files.
Obama read it.
They know what's in the files.
Obama read it.
Yeah.
Clinton read it.
Yeah.
George Bush the first, he knows what's in the files because he planned it, so he knows.
Yes.
Now, George Bush 2 and Trump, somebody read it to them, but they found out about it because I don't think either one of them could read.
Yeah.
So they found out. And George Bush number 2, he probably knew his daddy did it. You know, and when your daddy...
If your daddy
blows the president's head off, you're a little bit afraid that what could daddy do to me? I mean, that's kind of scary.
There you go.
And you notice that Trump, he talked a lot of shit, but he never did a goddamn thing about...
Because he knew what was in the file.
Of course he knows what's in the files.
You crazy?
Everybody knows what's in the files. The United States killed their own president, and that's called a coup d'etat. Allegedly. So I just thought we should bring that up, Hassan.
Yes.
Let me see your notes over there. Anything else that we were supposed to say about this?
No, I think we covered everything.
We got everything on there.
Yes.
So that was that's our news report then. So you want to play the news report theme?
I sure do. Great news, man.
It's amazing, because it's so obvious and you can't find out.
No,
it's so
we know what's allegedly. Allegedly.
So we're going to leave you with one quick sports thing, because I told you about this, that
yes.
Somebody pointed this out to me, that an NFL report that most players in the NFL no longer wear a cup. Now, you know what a cup is, Hassan? A cup is there to protect your balls,
yes.
to protect yourself if you get hit. But because they're so interested in speed now, that the cup might take you like a little bit off of your speed time.
Oh my gosh!
So nobody's wearing these cups. And one guy had the best line. He said that he's like a horse, and he wants his balls and his penis to be free at last.
No cups.
No cups. So next time you're watching an NFL game, maybe this weekend coming up, look at that, and you'll notice that none of the players are wearing cups anymore.
Well, that takes me to also women now don't want to wear bras, so we're walking around no cups and no bras.
And women are showing their vagina lips.
Yeah,
I've been noticing that.
Yeah, they're called camel lips.
Camel lips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're free. We want our balls out. We want our lips out.
We want our lips out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And that's our show for today.
To your balls and your lips.
Now, don't go anywhere, because coming up next, I got to do this in order, right?
Yes.
Coming up next, we have an interview with an amazing performer,
yes.
a great performer that we've known for many years, Terry Lee King. And
yes.
Terry has a new show coming up at the Theater for the New City.
Yes.
And check out this interview. It's going to be great. And then after Terry, stick around, because the Jackies, they always have something to say, and I'm interested to see what they have to say about the Kennedy assassination.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're Epstein and Hassan, the dirty truth tellers.
Lips and balls.
Lips and balls. Camel. You have a camel, right?
Yeah, I have a camel.
You have veteran camel.
Yeah,
So
my camel's like,
your camel's an experienced camel.
Yeah, my camel, yeah.
And stick around. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're Epstein and Hassan, the Dirty Truth Tellers. And tonight, Hassan, I am super excited because we have an amazing guest.
Yes.
We actually have a legendary guest tonight.
Yeah, very talented.
Amazingly talented guest. But not only that, a legend. You know, I mean, we've had other guests on the show, but they weren't quite legendary.
You tell
status.
Everybody they're a legend, man.
I tell them that. You know,
tell everybody.
I'm kind of a hoe in a certain sense. I'm a hoe. Oh, but you know. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the legendary, Amazing Grace, who is actually Terry Lee King.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exciting news. It's always good to promote something when we start the show. Terry has a new show coming up in December at the Theater City. It's called Drag-Ita, and book and lyrics by Terry Lee King.
Yes.
This original musical about a powerful drag queen of the village and her people being captured and enslaved by a maniacal mayor named Rudolph Giuliani. No, named. The show is going to be performed by the award-winning theater company Jules Earthbound Angels. This explosive romp is action-packed and full of political and social messages of the past as well as the present. Original compositions by Lennon Alavanti, and the book and lyrics by Terry Lee King. Terry Lee King,
Thank you.
I'll take off my glasses now. I'm done reading. And it's been a while since we saw you. How you been? What's up?
I've been hanging in there. I mean, I've seen better days, but I'm here.
Now, I heard a rumor that you had a recent birthday. Is this true?
Yeah, 60 years old.
Oh, 60 years old.
Oh, please, you're still a damn baby.
You know, people 60 and above, we look good nowadays. You know?
You guys look great.
I mean, three of us. You know, I mean, years ago when you were over 60, it was time for the grave almost. You know,
well, you people 40 was old. When we
were coming up. So now 60 is still pretty good. You know, it's still you can still be sexy. You can still be hot at 60.
That's right.
So, so what's about this play coming up?
Well, hopefully it'll happen because I've been at Theater for the New City since around 1988, 89. Crystal Field is a wonderful, brilliant, magnificent mentor for me. But as we know, show business is dog eat dog. And so there's a Karen running around the environment trying to do away with a lot of the people that's been there for a very long time. And one of the ones she got her eyes on. Now, being that it's kind of hard for her to get rid of me, she's doing it by villainizing and saying lies and terrible things about people that I brought into the theater and people that I'm working with. So I'm not gonna mention any names, but I call her Karen. And I just really needed to talk about it because it not only happens in the theater, it happens everywhere you go when you're a Black man, gay, you're talented. There are some people that's gonna embrace you and love you and help you. And then there are people that's gonna wanna see your downfall and your demise. And I think you were saying how good we all look. And I think we look good because we haven't given up on our dreams yet.
Yes.
And I think what happens sometimes, especially when we were growing up, to our grandparents and our parents, is a lot of times, and our teachers and the people that we knew back then, they gave up on their dreams. But I think one of the things that keep us youthful is we still believe it could be tomorrow, it could be a year from now. There's something bigger, better, fabulous waiting for us still.
Yeah, well, that's definitely our approach to everything, and it's a little shocking, the story that you're speaking on, because Theater for the New City has always been a kind of inclusive space, very inclusive, where race, religion, sexual orientation was never an issue, so to hear that that's going on there is kind of sad. That's what I would say, that it's a sad thing.
Only one person though.
You only need one
And
bad
that's
cell in your
what
body to cause cancer.
Yeah.
That's what it starts out. It's one cell. It's a bad cell. And, you're one of the we watched you last night actually on YouTube.
Wow, man.
You are, you're an amazing performer. I mean, you have so much energy and so much love that comes through you.
I had tears in my eyes. You were doing a Patti LaBelle song. What a
thank you.
Me. And the thing I said to Epstein was, look at how he is working that audience. That's a skill. Everybody cannot do that. Everybody cannot do that.
You're very
phenomenal.
You're a very dynamic performer, and the Theater for the New City is a place for dynamic performers like you. I mean, I thought originally when a lot of the old time that we came through there with,
Preemie,
unfortunately,
Craig.
They're no longer on planet Earth. Steve Ben Israel was the person who originally brought us to the theater way back, a little probably after you started there, but in the 1990s. And Craig and Preemie in particular, they were
our hearts.
I love both of those guys so much, and I miss them both so unbelievably. I mean, Craig was in our burlesque show. We did a show called Shock and Aura Go-Go, and at that time there were nobody was using men. Actually, it was all women in burlesque. Now there's a lot of male in the burlesque community, but Craig used to do a character. We called him the Black Man. And he would come out, get totally naked, 100%.
And he was very comfortable with
very
that.
comfortable.
Oh yes,
he was super comfortable. And now I'm visualizing his balls right now. Visualizing Craig's balls.
Yeah,
and he would be very
unforgettable.
Unforgettable. They were unforgettable. And
he'd be talking like Shakespeare, so he would be so disarming.
He was very disarming.
Yeah.
And I always used to say, because we called him the Black Man, that we searched the entire world to find him, and we finally found him in Jamaica. Jamaica, Queens. So, but and Preemie was in our burlesque show as well. I don't think Preemie ever got totally naked.
No, Preemie was in drag.
Well, thank God he didn't get totally naked. Thank God.
Way to go, Preemie.
Craig's it's a hard act to follow, you know. But
Well, Steve Ben Israel was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
I loved him. He always gave me a lot of love. Preemie and me we were very, very close. And I went to see him in the hospital. And I remember his fiance saying to me, oh, they gave him a lot of drugs, so he's out. So if he don't wake up to talk to you, don't be offended. And all of a sudden, Preemie popped up and he goes, hey, hooker. And then he goes,
wow. Wow.
No, we went to visit him too.
Yeah,
we went to see him. It was way
uptown. It was my birthday.
And
we went.
It was it was a very hard moment, but I'm very happy that we went, because when I first heard he was in such bad shape, it was really hard to believe, because he's a young guy, and it was pretty devastating. But those are the people that we came through the theater with, originally with Steve and then Craig and Preemie, and like you, Crystal's always been very kind to us,
very supportive.
So to hear that there's any kind of different kind of energy coming through there is sad, but hopefully it'll still happen. It's not definitely not happening, right? There is a possibility the show will go up.
Yeah, there's a possibility it's going to happen. I decided to just rehearse somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're ready to put up the show, to put up the show there, because sometimes I don't like to go where I'm not wanted. It just kind of brings my energy down, and I'd become more concerned with other things than putting on a good show.
Yes, yes.
And like I said, Crystal's wonderful. We talk all the time. She's given me many, many opportunities. And like I said before, it's not her.
Well,
But
then
it's a Karen.
let me
It's a
ask you
Karen.
something. Whose name is on the lease? Karen or Crystal?
Crystal.
And then that's where I would keep my focus.
Yes.
That's where I would keep my focus if I were you.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's where you keep your focus. We're always going to have distractions. We're always going to have that stuff. And you're giving it way too much energy. And until she says you can't do it here, or you pick that up, then you know what? That Karen would inspire me to do the hottest goddamn show I could ever do. You think I get on
That's
your nerves
wonderful
now?
advice.
Wait until you see me be fabulous.
I mean, we performed, I'm not going to get into the details, but we performed in a club here in Greenwich Village that's a family-run business. And the one of the members of the family really had a hard time with our show. They made it really uncomfortable, and they made it clear that they thought they didn't like what we did. Probably racially motivated, not liking interracial stuff. Right. But we didn't let that stop us from performing there, because we looked at it like this. This is our show. That you're booking us. You're making money off of us. You know, I mean, you're giving us a space. I understand that, but you're benefiting from our being there. So, you know, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting that if I wouldn't let one person there. That's after all the street theater you've done, all the shows that you lit up the house in that place, you earned the right to play there.
Yep.
And somebody coming in new, you know, I basically, you know, my philosophy would be they could kiss my big fat white ass. It's that white Jewish ass. Actually, they could kiss my black ass.
Yeah, you can't. I don't want to say you can't, but Terry, you've laid too much a foundation in your life. You know, it's almost like you start apologizing for your mere essence, and there's always going to be those there. This seems like somebody that just wants to establish themselves there.
We notice that a lot of times when people come in new to spaces or spiritual communities, whatever it is, they always come in with a lot of energy and try to change things. And the Theater for the New City is a place that if you can't feel uncomfortable there. No, after all the things that all the energy that you placed into that space, that has to be a space when you walk in there that you feel super comfortable, because you earn that. You shouldn't feel uncomfortable there. And that's just, you know, that's just, you know,
this Black Jew love technology.
Right. As long as we're on, since we have someone like Terry here, someone who can give us a really, so what is your view on the whole Dave Chappelle thing?
Before I get to Dave Chappelle, just let me tell you, Craig was one of the love of my lives.
Absolutely.
We were like this. And as a matter of fact, he brought me to perform with you guys at the Cutting Room?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
I was with Mary Cunningham, which is Craig's sister.
Okay.
And we did a drag performance. And Mary, even though she's a woman, she was in female drag. So we got to perform with you.
Now it's clicking in my mind. Now,
You guys were wonderful. You're very funny and creative and very welcoming. And I loved that, because you contributed to me believing in myself also throughout the years, just like Steve and Preemie and Craig.
Well, that was what everybody, I mean, that's why the Theater for the New City was a place like, I mean, there were assholes at Theater for the New City, don't get me wrong. There's always assholes in every environment.
Yeah.
But in general, it was always a very welcoming, you know, welcoming vibe. And, you know, Craig, I've told this to Naima, knows my feelings. I think that Craig was one of the most talented people that I've ever known. And clearly the funniest person of all time.
Off stage
when you're getting stoned. He was the funniest man. We once did a show, you remember that, at Theater for the New City, and it was a night, we were on at like 11 o'clock at night, and nobody came, zero. And we were very depressed.
We wanted to slit our
We were
fucking
very
throats.
sad and depressed.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Craig was there, and the three of us put on a show downstairs that was the funniest show in the history of shows. Unfortunately, nobody saw it but the three of us. But it was one of the best moments of my life. We had unbelievable fun with Craig, you know, and so, you know,
Well, I want to ask you something. When you were doing that piece with Patti LaBelle, how do you create your characters? Like, how do you develop, like, find a song? Because that's a song I never heard her do before.
Oh, well, my mom, Jill Leonda Lopez King -Black, she was an entertainer in the 30s and 40s, and she was international. So she would travel and do shows and perform, and she gave up her career to raise her ungrateful, and I don't care if they hear that, children. Not everybody, some of them have passed on. And I've always looked at her when she would be getting ready to go out or do something or make a statement within the neighborhood, and she would always be sharp as a tack from head to toe.
Yeah.
So while I was at Theater for the New City, I wrote a show called Life's a Drag. And it was about a group of guys that accidentally got booked into a nightclub as women, and they decided to dress up and take the contract. So my mom was alive then, and she came to see that show because I had to dress up, and I borrowed a lot of stuff from her. And she came to see the show, and I heard her laughing in the audience through the whole show. And after the show was over, she came over to me and she goes, "You look better in my outfits. You need to do this character anytime, anywhere." And she said, "I don't care if it's a funeral, I don't care if it's a baptism, I don't care what it is. If they ask you to perform, you say yes, because everybody's gonna love that character." And it's based on her.
Well,
the character of the legendary Amazing Grace is based on my mother.
That's beautiful.
You have such a great you're such a great entertainer. I mean, I don't, you know, that's what you felt like when I watched you.
I didn't pick up any fear. I didn't pick up any consciousness. Super
just
on very present.
Yeah.
You were very present. That's what I got.
You feel very comfortable on stage. Like, to me, you seem to be a person who might be most comfortable on stage. You're a performer. I mean, that's your karma was to definitely be a performer in this life. So let me get back to that question, because he was about to answer.
Yeah.
What do you feel about this Dave Chappelle situation? Do you think that Dave Chappelle is punching down when in his act, or do you feel that very much like, you know, Richard Pryor, who I would imagine Dave Chappelle idolized, you know? It's just, it seems to me like most young Black comedians, most comedians from our generation, Richard Pryor was the king. So, but what are your feelings?
Well, I'm older, so I liked Henny Youngman, Moms Mabley. Okay. Those were my two funny people. You remember Henny Youngman?
Black
and Moms Mabley?
Yeah,
of course.
Oh, Moms Mabley was hysterical.
They were very funny. Those old Jewish comedians were very funny, and Moms was great.
There's a great thing on YouTube where she's getting an award, and she's with some white celebrity who's well known. I'm going to say it's somebody on the level of Clint Eastwood or something.
Oh, wow.
And I think she takes her teeth out, like she's like, I just can't, you know, and the person just goes off like.
Well, you know what we always say? I don't know, you probably never heard us say this, but there is a lot of young men make a mistake not being attracted to older women. Because older women, they can take their teeth out, and a gum job is better than a blow job, because the teeth often ruin a blow job, you know, because they don't know how to do it correctly. But if you got no teeth, a gum job,
it's
very hot.
Oh,
Unfortunately, her teeth are real. She has no dentures. She's, you know. So you have any final questions?
Yes, we want to ask him about the Dave Chappelle thing.
I think there's a Karen behind that too. That don't bother me. There was a time, and I'm quite sure you remember, where you could crack a joke, and it's just a joke.
Right. Well,
there were times, and I'm sure you remember that in my neighborhood in the Bronx, we would stand on the stoop and we would say, "Your mother's so fat, your sister's so skinny, your brother's so black," and we would have a punchline. Your brother's so black. He go to night school, they mark him absent. Okay. And we would have jokes, and they would be biting and really get into nitty gritty. And we would laugh and laugh and laugh, and laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, I
so
agree.
People get offended too easy. Joan Rivers could never be alive today. Don Rickles could never be alive today. Richard Pryor could never say his jokes. And everybody's just become too sensitive. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. That's my.
And I love Dave Chappelle.
You know, Dave Chappelle is a funny guy.
Dave Chappelle. Okay.
Our act as well. People sometimes, everything became so politically correct that you can offend people with stuff that's not, it's comedy. And here's my main point, and then you should do the lightning round.
Okay.
If you don't like a performer, turn the channel or don't go to the show. It's that, don't cancel anyone, and I feel the same way even about, all the
music,
some of the music today is,
and don't listen to it.
Don't listen to it.
If you don't like Megan Thee Stallion telling you that her vagina will cause, if you don't like that, then don't listen to it.
Have you noticed, though, that a lot of the hip hop women now, they talk about their vaginas the way men used to talk about their dicks? It's all about bragging.
That is true.
My vagina is so big, you could put a truck in there. You could drive like a tunnel.
Yeah, the average person just have average shit.
The average woman has an average vagina. And guess what? So do these celebrities. They have average vaginas. It's not like a magic, except for my wife. This is a magic. This is a magical.
It's average, baby.
This man, kept me in there for 35 years.
Oh, that's just because I have a gun to your head.
The gun is. I thought it was the pussy. It's the gun that she.
You guys got to look for a show called Queens.
Queens. Okay.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's about a rap group that is making a comeback, and it's 4 women.
Okay.
You'll love it.
Okay, now I'm going to do a lightning rod with you, and you can't think too much. You got to tell me, what do you like better, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Okay, wig or your natural hair?
Wig.
Lipstick or lip gloss?
Both.
Pantyhose or stockings?
Tights.
The Munsters or the Addams Family?
Oh, both. I can't choose between those classics.
You can't choose between the Munsters or the Addams Family. Okay,
they're classics.
Are you a cat or a dog person?
I am originally a dog that's been converted to a pussy, to a cat.
Are you one that likes to hug after you finish or eat and send the person home?
I'm one that, I'll say B. Eat and send the person home.
Eat and send the person home. Okay.
But I won't feed him. He gotta go, I eat.
Gotta go. Okay.
So he go home, I eat.
Okay. One more. Do you, after you shower, put on Vaseline or lotion?
Lotion. Cocoa butter. Cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter is watching. Give him a shot as a commercial there. Give him a cocoa butter commercial.
No, I covered the label.
Yes. So what are you going to be doing with Amazing Grace?
Well, the legendary Amazing Grace. You know what? You guys said I look comfortable when I'm Amazing Grace. I think that if I came into the world as Amazing Grace, I would live my life to the fullest. As Terry, I have a lot of reservations, but Amazing Grace, she brings out the diva and the love and the auntie in me.
You do.
That's
such
why
a
you
great
have to keep her
performance.
alive.
Never let her go. Never let her go.
Yeah.
And also, just as a final note, Terry, you're a beautiful, beautiful person.
Yes, you are.
And from my side, you don't have to have any sadness or negativity about anything about yourself. You're an amazing person, and you come from a beautiful place. And thank you so much for joining us today.
I had a good time.
Thank you, Terry.
The show, it'll go up in about a week. We'll let you know when it's going to go up.
Yeah, we go up on December 3rd, so hopefully it'll happen because Karen.
Okay, we'll let you.
We'll make it happen.
We'll definitely be in touch.
And we want to support your work, and we love you.
Oh,
very, very
thank
much.
you.
Terry Lee King.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. Have a great day.
Love you. Bye.
Where's your pussy?
Oh, come here, puppy. Come say hi. Come say hi. Hurry up before they leave. Say hi to Epstein and Hassan.
Oh, wait. That's an interracial kitty. That's a black and a white kitty.
Yeah.
That's a black and a white right there.
That's like interracial, auntie.
Oh, man.
Leave me alone, okay?
She fucks herself at some great interracial sex. Though.
Oh, okay. Goodbye, Terry, on that note.
Love you. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Who the hell is JFK? I don't know. I guess he's some human that did something and he got shot in the car and nobody knows who he is. We were there. They're always talking about stuff that happened 50, 60 years ago. What the fuck is wrong with humans? They go on TikTok and talk about stuff from 50, 60 years ago. How stupid is that shit? That's not how you get people to view your shit. No, it's not. Why are they talking about JFK right now? They should be talking about current stuff, about Megan Thee Stallion. That's right. Or about, something that's happening now. Cardi B, yeah. Then they say things like JFK got his head blown off. Who the fuck cares right now about JFK? That's what I'm saying. Who even knows him now? What I believe in, once something is over, it's over. Done. It's done. Stop bringing shit up. Leave it alone. What's the next thing they're going to do on Jesus, who's next? Talk about like Abraham Lincoln. Or Jesus. But I did like that Terry Lee King. Yeah, he's nice. I like this cat, too. But he wears a dress. Yeah. How come he wears a dress? Isn't he a guy? That doesn't matter, man. When he has his dress on, he has to get rid of his, his thing. So what does he do with it? Does he stick it? You tuck it in, man. You tuck it in. That's like a shirt. You tuck it in. That guy has the commercial. He doesn't tuck his shirt in. I know. He thinks he's cool. I know. I don't like that guy. I know, man. Fuck Niels. Yeah.